Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com with Matt, the wrap-up video for our Playing on a Budget with the Mono Green Standard Stomp. So this is what I really think the changes I would make, is I'd run these Polukranos over to the sideboard, maybe keep one in the main board, and definitely throw back over the Collected Company. I was very surprised with this card. I thought it did very good in this deck, and a turn. 4 mana could get you 6 power on board. We didn't get to see this versus like a control matchup where that could be huge. And when they tap out for something, you in response tap out for a Collected Company. Hopefully it's the end of their turn or their turn. They cast an Icefall Regent, for example, and then you Collected Company and find 2 Boon Satyrs, and then can easily swing in for the win after that. So I think that it deserves a main board slot with all of the 3s and 2 drops. That's like the majority of your deck. Now, the cards that I wasn't too impressed with was Elvish Mystic. I don't know if it really has a place in this deck, as the 3 drops or the 2 drop slot is very important. We did see a Mystic into a Boon Satyr, so I'm not saying cut all of them. What I would cut down is to 3 or 2 and add that other Heir of the Wilds. And again, if you could afford the Deathmyth Raptors for your deck, then the Elvish Mystic then has even more reason to be in here, because then you have another first turn Elvish Mystic, turn 2 3 drop, and then hopefully turn 3 Surrak. And Deathmyth Raptor also is formidable with the Surrak. So Deathmyth Raptor is a card that I highly think that this deck wants, even though it isn't something that you're going to be able to turn a card face up and get it back from your graveyard. There's not a lot of cards in this deck. I mean, it would be the only card would be another Deathmyth Raptor. But I mean, I guess that scenario could actually happen. So that's one upgrade to the deck. Another option for this deck would be to go into more of a mid-range strategy with Surrak, the Hunt Caller. And there is some more aggressive, when you're into the green, you can get up to, well, I think that this deck could go red as well. And then if you go into red, then you have more ferocious cards, more cards like the Fanatic of Xenagos wouldn't be too shabby. But I've done a deck like that before, green-red aggro, and it just cuts into the devotion, though. So I don't know. I think that sticking with green is the way to go. If you're going to splash any color, the color I would suggest would be that white, just for Jamoka's command, because the card just seems insane right now in Standard. Being able to kill off a Courser or Crewfix and like a Voyaging Satyr with the fight mode on it versus that green-white devotion, or against maybe there's a lot of what they call green-red Hornet Queen or green-red bees, where they go turn 2 or turn 3 Xenagos and keep back a token to block, and being able to fight off a guy and kill Xenagos is pretty sweet. Or if they have a Courser Crewfix out, so there you go, you make them sacrifice the Courser Crewfix, fight off their token, and then swing in for perfect power for 3 power to kill off their guys. So and Fleecemane Lion is probably just better than Swordwise Centaur. Even though you do get the devotion count from Swordwise Centaur, the Fleecemane Lion at a 3/3 with the ability to give it indestructible is just a strict upgrade to the Swordwise. So, or maybe even the Heir of the Wilds. I think Heir wants to be a 4 of in this deck, though. It did very well. I was thinking that I wanted to go more of the Swordwise route, because Swordwise is another thing that could get Surrak online. We didn't get to see Surrak that many games. He was very impressive in that Jeskai Ascendancy combo. Unfortunately for us, the Ascendancy combo was able to have their very perfect hands, the 2 games we lost, where they were able to combo off on, what was it, turn 4 both games? They were able to do so, and that was just very unlucky for us, because the deck is consistent, but not that consistent. But overall, I felt this deck was very well positioned in the Standard metagame. There isn't a lot of terrible matchups. I think you do have some extremely good matchups. I like that red matchup a lot. Maybe we should go up into one more Nylea's Disciple, or you could look at other ways to actually gain life. I'm sure there's some cards that I'm missing out of green that can do so, like the Shamanistic Revelation. Let me pull up that card and you can look at it. I think that might deserve a spot, other than it's really just Boon Satyr, Reverent Hunter, an Avatar with a counter on it. But let's see what it's I think that's how you spell it. Let's see. Shaman. It's Revelation. Revelation. Shamanic Revelation. You draw a card for each creature you control, which in this deck is a lot, and you gain 4 life for each creature controlled power 4 or greater, which is Boon Satyrs, Hunters, Surrak, an avatar of the Resolute that has a counter on it, and or even like a Setessan Tactic. Well, I don't know if you'd have the mana to do so by getting a Setessan Tactics up and then casting a Shamanic Revelation. But also, Servant of the Scale, if it goes on a Swordwise Centaur, is up to 4/4. You get the point, like Polukranos is going to be coming in versus that red deck. So I think that this actually deserves a spot in the sideboard. Maybe over Arbor Colossus. This did very lackluster, or he could just completely cut out the Nylea's Disciple. Other than this is a 5-drop, but I think this card is worth messing around with. And I'm going to cut right now. I'm going to keep 1 in. If I play this deck again, then I'll bring this in versus certain matchups where, like those mid-range matchups, and gaining like 12 life and drawing 3 cards is definitely not a bad option out of 1 card. So, yeah, there's a lot of different avenues you can go with this deck. With rotation, you get to keep a ton of these cards too. So if you're looking for a deck that you're worried about sticking around, the vast majority, I can see Elvish Mystic being reprinted again in Origins, and then you still have the Heir of the Wilds, you still have the Avatar of the Resolute. I'm sure we'll get another 2-drop out of green in the next coming set, so you can guarantee this slot's fine. Reverent Hunter is gone, the Aspect of Hydra is gone, which is a huge part of this, but you can go more of the Surrak route. And so this deck is pretty much still going to be here after rotation. So if you're a new player and you're looking to get into an easy-to-play deck, but still complex enough that you can find ways to outplay your opponent, I highly recommend this one. I had a lot of fun with it. So go check it out. Definitely, if you're going to pick up these cards, pick them up from our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com. They keep this show, this Playing on a Budget, going by sponsoring myself and sponsoring a lot of the cards that are put into this. So definitely go check them out. And if you are also interested in more of the rogue type brews, that is my specialty. Come over to YouTube/Rogue Deck Builder. And I have been messing around with a lot of Dragon's Tarkir cards. One of them is actually Surrak, the Hunt Caller, with Hero's Blade. So I just did a video series with Surrak and Hero's Blade. And the deck is just so explosive. It's very explosive like this deck, but I mean, you just get some crazy, crazy draws out of nowhere. I would say that adding red in that deck is, I'll just show it to you real quick. So here's the deck I'm looking at. So you have Xenagos, God of Revels, and then Fanatic of Xenagos and Crater's Claw. So you get some cool cards from adding red. Again, I've cut a lot of cards. No Avatar of the Resolute. We'd only have 1 Aspect of Hydra, so the deck tries to go at different routes to get that explosiveness, but the See the Unwritten is amazing in this deck too. So I'm going to have videos up for this deck, so if you actually like this green Stomp list, I'm sure you'll actually like this green-red Hero's Blade list that I've been playing in conjunction with Surrak the Hunt Caller. Anyway, this has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com and RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.